The story you are about to hear is a compilation of documented true facts featuring historical characters, events, or places that has played a role in shaping history. Please sit back and listen as I recite this narrative for you. Legend has it that this silver vase, made in the 15th century, was given to a bride on the eve of her wedding near Napoli, Italy. Sadly, she'd never make it to the altar as she was murdered that very night with the vase in her hands. From there, it was passed down her family line, but anyone who took possession of it is said to have perished soon thereafter. After untold deaths, the family boxed the vase away. It resurfaced in 1988 with a note that is said to have read, "Beware, this vase brings death." However, when the Basano vase was auctioned off for about $2,250, the note had been excluded from the item description. The pharmacist who bought it died within 3 months. 3 more deaths of new owners followed until finally the curse seemed to go dormant. When a desperate family demanded the police take it away, it has not been seen since. The Basano vase is a curiously strange tale. Surrounded in death, the vase was considered cursed by those who possessed it, but seemingly cursed without explanation. In fact, no one really understands how or why it became so powerful or where the curse originated from. Also, unlike other haunted or cursed objects, the Basano vase isn't available for scrutiny. In fact, its whereabouts are unknown. There are no direct eyewitness accounts of the problematic vase, only stories of its deadly power. From what is commonly known, the vase was a simple silver design weighing approximately 4 pounds and was crafted sometime during the 15th century as a wedding gift. It's been listed on multiple websites as one of the most haunted objects known to mankind. But the lack of details on the origin of the vase continued to perplex even the most diligent students of the paranormal. The earliest account of the vase dates back to the 15th century in a small town north of Napoli, Italy. The legend says that the vase was given to a young bride on the night before her wedding, perhaps as a gift of good fortune or perhaps something more sinister. Unfortunately, the young woman never made it to her own wedding. She was discovered dead the next morning. Soon after the young woman was interred, the Basano vase was given to another family member who sadly also perished shortly after receiving it. It was once again passed to another family member with the same unfortunate ending. Another quick death almost immediately after taking possession of the vase. The family soon came to the understanding that the vase was cursed and connected to death somehow, so they had it hidden away. There are several claims on how it was hidden away. Some say it was buried, while others speak of it being hidden by a priest, presumably in a church or other holy resting place. Both versions could be true, for the tale takes an abrupt hiatus for hundreds of years. What happened from the time the family decided to part with the Basano vase permanently and its much later rediscovery is unknown. The Basano vase remained hidden until it resurfaced in 1988, bringing more hardship and death along with it. The tale of the rediscovery tells how it was found by an unsuspecting young man who had dug it up somewhere. Again, there is much frustration about the lack of specific details on location and names. Some say his yard, while other versions simply skip over the geography. It's also been said that the Basano vase was buried with a note that stated, "Beware, this vase brings death." Apparently, this warning had little effect on the young man who unearthed it. He must have only looked at the financial ramifications of the item and disregarded the message. The vase was quickly auctioned off, sans the warning note, for 4 million Italian lira or $2,250 to a pharmacist. We don't know the name of the auction house, the buyer, or the man who made the discovery. The poor pharmacist died after 3 months, and his family sold the vase to a doctor, who himself died at the age of 37 only a few short months later. It was sold once again to an archaeologist who was a collector of artifacts. Within 3 months, the collector too had perished. His cause of death was a mysterious infection. The causes of death in the other modern-day victims have not been detailed. The stories continued with one last sale. Information about the last owner is even thinner than the previous ones. Except for the fact that he perished less than a month after taking possession, little is known. The string of deaths hadn't gone unnoticed, and the Basano vase became unsellable. And if we are to believe the stories, at this time, a family member of the last victim was said to have tossed it out a window in an attempt to break free from the curse. Although the family was spared further tragedy, the story doesn't end simply. The vase nearly struck a carabinieri, or a police officer, who retrieved it with the intention of finding the person who threw it at him. It was said that the family accepted a fine for littering but refused to take the vase back. The Polizia de Estado attempted to place the artifact in a museum, but word had already circulated about the vase being cursed. So strong was the belief that no institution would accept it. One September morning in 1985, British residents opened their copies of The Sun, a popular newspaper, to find an astonishing article. "Blazing Curse of the Crying Boy," read the headline. According to the story, Ron and Mary Hall lost their home to a fire when a frying pan burst into flames. Although the whole house was destroyed, one item remained: a print of a painting of a crying boy. The next day, The Sun ran a follow-up saying they'd been flooded by calls from horrified readers. Dora Mann said her house burnt down just 6 months after she bought the painting. "All my paintings were destroyed, except the one of the crying boy." Another reader said her son had caught his private parts on a hook just after she bought the crying boy. A third claimed that her husband and 3 sons had all died since she bought it in 1959. When another house displaying a crying boy painting by a different artist, Anazin Kaysen, burnt down, panic grew. A story about the fire had a brigade spokesperson claiming there was no cause for alarm, but adding, "These incidents are becoming more frequent." A firefighter claimed that he had attended at least 15 house fires where everything was destroyed. The only thing left complete in each home was the picture of the crying boy. Before long, speculation was rife. Theories ranged from the little boy being a gypsy child whose family placed a curse on the artist. Some claimed that the child had died in a fire and his spirit was trapped in the painting. The most enduring story claimed the crying boy accidentally set fire to the studio of the artist who had painted him. The child's parents had also been killed in a blaze. Wherever the little orphan went, fires mysteriously followed, earning him the nickname Diablo or Devil. The boy supposedly survived to early adulthood but was tragically killed when his car crashed and burst into flames. From then onwards, it was his image that carried on his cursed fascination with fire. The legend was fueled by the obscurity of the crying boy painting's artist. The artwork bear the prominent signature of one Giovanni Bragolin. But for quite some time, no one could find information about the man. Rumors abounded. He painted hundreds of crying children, many of them street urchins, it was said, in either Italy or Spain. Finally, a 2000 book of creepy stories called Haunted Liverpool claimed that in 1995, a well-respected schoolteacher called George Mallory discovered that the painter was actually a mysterious figure named Franchot Seville. The following backstory from 2000 seems to be a mashup of the reportage from The Sun and Mallory. One of the urchins he painted was a boy named Don Bonillo, who accidentally started a fire in which his parents died in Spain. From then on, wherever the boy went, a fire followed, prompting his nickname Diablo. Some believe the boy was adopted against the will of a priest and was abused by the painter. In the 1970s, the boy was consumed by fire as well in an explosion caused by a car accident. The Crying Boy was one of a series of paintings by artist Giovanni Bragolin completed in the 1950s. He sold those paintings to tourists as a reminder of the orphans of World War II. Oddly enough, people in England, especially the young couples, grew fond of these paintings. Mass prints of the paintings were sold across the country. In the UK alone, over 50,000 copies sold. The children represented were often poor and very beautiful. One boy's image particularly tugs on the heartstrings, his eyes a sad reflection of his soul. He became known as the Crying Boy. In total, Bragolin painted over 60 paintings, and up until the early 80s, prints and reprints of his images continued to be mass-produced. After the story was published, people were seized with hysteria. The legend grew bigger as imaginations ran wild. Some people claimed that the painting had caused the death of family members. Others reported that when they tried to burn the prints, the painting would not catch on fire. Even restaurants with Crying Boy prints were burned to the ground. Eventually, enough was enough. With people desperate to get rid of their copies of the painting, Kelvin Mackenzie, editor of The Sun, came up with a solution. He told readers to send in their paintings and that The Sun would destroy them once and for all. On Halloween, newspaper staff burned more than 2,500 copies of the painting. In a 2010 video made by Steve Punt and available on YouTube, a painting of the Crying Boy is set alight in a bid to decide the matter once and for all. By the time the fire burns out, the corner of the painting is scorched, but it remains largely intact, and the face remains untouched. Hey everyone! I just wanted to express how grateful I am that you took the time to listen to my narration. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I am Twisted Mind and please enjoy the rest of your day. Salamat! To Tess Atienza, Aubrey Delgado, Mundo ng Kababalaghan, Dark Hub PH, Dreamwork Stories, Eriza Miguel, Star Rosella, at Comics ni Sam, thank you for attending the premiere of Heaven's Gate. Also, thank you very much din kina Miss Cafe Latte, Tiktilaok Stories, Miss Colette, Tales from the Creepinoy, and Roger Roach TV for watching the video. Thank you for taking the time to watch and comment on my video. Maraming salamat po.